Peterbilt Mike here. It's a beautiful day in Prince George. It snowed last night. Don't know if you can tell. Check out K2. He looks good. It looks good in the snow, don't you think? I think so. Did a little bit of cleanup yesterday afternoon because I knew the snow was coming, and I'm glad I did. I moved the totes, picked up some stuff that was on the ground so that you know, you don't run over it with a snowblower, because that's always a bad day. But look what I did to K2. I jacked up the front axle and blocked it up so that the tires aren't sitting in the dirt. And this one almost looks like it's curved out. I wonder, well, maybe not. It's just wondering if it needs kingpins or something. Wouldn't surprise me. Could be just the way the axle is. I don't know. I guess they're both that way. Maybe it's an optical illusion. That could be. But anyways, it's days like today where I'm super grateful to have a shop to work in. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna see about getting Kenny a little closer to being done. Ah yes, the trio. The three musketeers, if you will. Check these guys out. Beep boop boop boop. Yeah. Got low and slow, missing its windshield. Kenny already got the cab up, and Stubbs. Kind of like Tubbs, but he's stubby. Now, one of you fellers asked what the wheelbase was on Stubby and how it compared to Kenny. Well, as it turns out, and this is hard to believe, when you look at how short Stubby is, Kenny is actually shorter by 6 inches as far as wheelbase. So Stubbs is 154-inch wheelbase, and Kenny is 148-inch wheelbase. That's short. Now, overall length, they're basically the same length because Stubby has 22.5 rubber, and basically the back of the frame, the mud flaps are right at the back of the tire. Whereas Kenny has a little bit of tail frame and mud flaps. So when you factor in 6 inches and 24.5 rubber versus 22, yeah, Kenny is actually about the same length. But wheelbase wise, he's shorter. This is the fitting where I was blowing air in to fill up the tank, pressurize the tank to push fuel in. It's a trick that works great, especially on a cat, because cats are basically known for being hard to pick up fuel, especially if the plunger isn't. Oh, you know how many times I've bumped into these signal lights? More than I care to remember or mention, something like that. But yeah, I'm gonna pull a fuel tank off. And what I wanna do is I wanna pull this fuel tank off, because with the batteries there, and like on K2, the battery box is right here. So I'd like to have the battery box here, maybe put a chain hanger here, maybe a toolbox. Well, I don't think I really need a toolbox, but I don't need to pack this much fuel. This isn't a Kenworth tank, it's an aftermarket tank. But this is the main tank, whereas the other one is kind of like a secondary tank. And I'm not sure, I think that's just a return line, I think. I think that maybe that's for the fast idle. So I ordered some Cummins Desert Beige paint so I can touch up the engine, but it hasn't come in like everything else. Who would ever thought that, you know, that Cummins paint could be hard to get. Cummins Red we have in stock, Cat Yellow we have in stock, PACCAR MX Gray, Graphite if you will, we have in stock. N14 Black we have in stock. Mind you, black is black, but no Cummins Beige. And you know what, that's the hard thing with these old Cummins engines, is they're getting harder and harder to find people that can work on them, that know anything about it. And I mean, there's a ton of information out there, but like I've had 2 different opinions on how to set the valves with the outer base circle method, and you know, both are super excellent mechanics, but it's that same old story. The last time I worked on these engines was a few years ago. And actually both methods are right, from what I understand. One, you set, when you set your injectors, you're basically doing it on the call it the flat side of the cam, the low side, and on the other one you're doing it on the high side, and that just confuses me a little bit because I want to make sure I do it right. Although, you know, starting it without setting the valves, a stupid thing to do, you know, without a doubt. But that's just inexperience. You know, I'm a Mike of all trades, which means I'm a master of none. But yeah, so today I'm going to pull the valve covers off again, the jake heads off again, because I set the valves, my tick didn't go away, so it's obviously injector. So, you know, maybe I buggered up an injector, hopefully not. I'm thinking that either one is too loose or one is too tight. I'm kind of thinking too tight, but I don't know, we'll find out. And if it still knocks after that, maybe it's something else. I don't know. Or maybe I wrecked an injector. I mean, that's the reality of doing things wrong, unfortunately, is can be costly mistakes. But hopefully we haven't sent my cores back, because of course these injectors I bought to replace the other ones that I thought were the issue were probably fine, other than, you know, could use new O-rings. Now, these injectors are actually not the exact same part number either, which is just more of, you know, lack of experience. I was going off the serial number of the truck, and I thought it odd that the information plate on the engine wasn't there. But I mean, it's, you know, it's an old truck. I mean, stuff has been changed and it's been worked on over the years, and you don't know what the history is. So I bought injectors based off the serial number, which was for a Big Cam 444, and then Tom came over, showed me where the actual serial number is stamped on the engine, and it was really hard to see, like really hard. And I can't remember if I talked about it in the video. I probably did. So we cleaned it up, got the number, and this is actually a reman engine that I believe went in 92 or so, 93. So it's actually a reman Cummins, and I think they call it like a 440. So it's the same, but it's a little bit different. And when I talked to our Cummins rep, he says, well, it's a different engine arrangement, so the injectors won't work. Chris, our assistant parts manager, he looked it up. He said, no, the one changes up to the other. So he's like, Parts Online or whoever they are, the gurus at Cummins, said that they'll work just fine. So that's why I put the new ones in, even though they do have a different part number. So, but I got that tick. So, you know, lesson learned. And the good thing is about it is I'm learning. So like, you know, K2, I'm seriously thinking about putting a Cummins in, because I'm getting more comfortable with Cummins. And if I get a Cat, I'm starting all over again, which isn't a bad thing. I think a Cat would actually give it more resale per se, because of, you know, Cat Nation. But I kind of like Cummins, you know, and Cummins, you know what I like about Cummins? Cummins has stood the test of time, like with the new emissions rules and that, and like back in, 2008, 2012, all that stuff, you know, Cat kind of went loopy, you know, Cat went to the VGT, is it VGT? No, not VGT, clean exhaust gas return or exhaust gas return or EGR. Anyways, basically they pumped, how did they do that now? No, it was like EGR, but they basically they ran it up from the DPF. So you had this little 2-inch line running from your exhaust back into your engine. And if the bellows flex pipe thing went, it dusted your engine. Terrible design. And then Cat partnered up with International for Max Force engines. Max Force's advanced EGR is terrible design. It almost made International go broke. Meanwhile, Cummins stood the test of time. You know what? Were they perfect over the years? No, but they managed to adapt, and actually now, like even I think the new Cat stuff, or oh gosh, I'm having a brain fart here, but because I don't know. But anyways, they're using like Cummins after treatment systems. So the PACCAR MX uses Cummins after treatment systems. They use the same Cummins whole set turbo, and so that's what I like about Cummins. You know that. I love selling Cummins. They do a great job. Had issues in the past. you know what? Everybody's had issues in the past. The X15 right now is a friggin' phenomenal engine. And you know what? And so are these. I mean, how many old trucks do you see have a 400 Cummins in them or whatever? So, but anyways, enough of me yammering jammering. Let's get to work. So I gotta make Kenny roadworthy. And I know you're surprised, like, really? He's not roadworthy? It's crazy. But I want to drive this bad boy, and we are. So it's all about Kenny. Low and slow, we're gonna get to him. Leaving the windshield out for a little bit to really dry out that steel, and of course it's obviously long since dry, but yeah, he's got all winter. I'm not in a big rush to get low and slow finished. I am in a rush to get Kenny back running and able to drive on the street because you know what? He's been neglected all summer because of this whole engine thing, and since I got all these other trucks, you know, and you only have so much time in the day. So right now, it's all about Kenny. Get Kenny running and driving, and once he's running and driving, you know, we might insure him, drive him to work and stuff, and if that works out and we can get this engine tick resolved, then yeah, we'll call Kenny good for a little bit. I'm still gonna get a rear clip for Kenny. You know what I saw? Okay, so I'm searching Facebook this morning. Since Dad's down in Arizona, I'm kind of surfing parts down there too, just, you know, because. And I found a 2021 Peterbilt, I think it was a 579 or something, caught fire. So sleepers toast, cab toast, engine's burnt, but it's got a 2021 Peterbilt rear clip. And I was like, oh, that's what I need for Kenny. Because one of the things I want to do is get rid of the double nut wheels, because I hate them. You know, it's hard to get wheels. Like, to buy a double nut wheel now, it's probably going to be like $650, whereas I can buy one of our value spec, TRP, whatever you want to call it, aluminum wheels for about 250 bucks Canadian, rough and dirty. So that's quite a difference. And 10 stud pilot hub, do it with my impact, it's easy peasy. Double nut, what a pain in the arse. There's a reason why they don't make them anymore. And I'm not trying to make a period correct truck. I'm just trying to make a serviceable, cool truck that I can drive, that if I get a flat tire, I can get it fixed easily. And so that's what we're gonna do. And got my transmission here. Not sure if this video will come before or after. I did a quick little blurb on my 18 speed, but yeah, looking for a transmission, talking to a buddy. He's like, hey, I know where I can get you a 29 18B for a reasonable price. And I was like, hook me up. So Stubbs is getting an 18 speed. I thought about keeping this for K2, but the reality is, and actually Andrea pointed out, she's like, maybe you could get one truck running and driving that has an engine in it already. Meaning she doesn't want me to keep this transmission for K2 if I don't have an engine for it yet. And which kind of makes sense because Stubby needs a trans. So we're gonna put the 18 speed in, pull the 13 speed out, take a look at it. Maybe I can fix it, maybe I can't, maybe I could use it for a core. We'll see. But you know what, K2's not getting a transmission yet because it's getting paint, sandblast, and all that other good stuff before it runs. So I'm not sure if we'll get K2 running next summer, but guaranteed Stubbs is gonna run next summer. So these two, they're gonna be dailies. Well, actually maybe low and slow too. The only downside to low and slow is the long wheelbase because it's not like a whoop whoop whip through town kind of truck. But man, oh lab, does it ever sound good with those straight pipes. So, or I should say straight pipe. But yeah, low and slow is gonna get tiddlied up because in order to get the rear clip for Kenny, I need low and slow to be able to run and drive and haul stuff without the window leaking and rotting anymore. So, so anyways, that's another project for this winter because when you look outside, boys and girls, I mean, it's a beautiful day out there, but it's a lot nicer in here. So anyways, I better get to work and stop talking. Although maybe if I talk long enough, somebody will just show up and it'll all be good. I guess that would cost money. And right now, any money I have, it's going into these guys. It's all about the trucks, man. It's all about the trucks. I should have done the first time, and just grab my wrenches. I've been told, well, that's interesting, there's a scribe mark on here. I was going to make a little mark and see about setting these injectors. Now, I was told that 6 inch-pounds is basically like finger tight, so I could try that. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm on, where am I? I'm on A, and I believe that's 3 and 5. Let me just refer to my cheat sheet on my phone. So A is 3-5 or 4-2. 3-5 or 4-2. So 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3. 3 is closed, which means 4 is open. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to start on 4. 4. So injector 4. Check the valves on 3. No, sorry, valves on 2. So 4, 2. Okay. So I'm going to mark this where it is right now with a pencil, just to see if that's where my clatter's coming from. Loosen this bad boy off. This probably isn't the right tool for the job, but maybe I don't have the right tool for the job. Actually, I could use a deep socket, and I took it back. Wow, that's tight. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a socket for that. I just set I retorqued the rocker boxes just to make sure after running it, and these two were a bit loose. I'm not sure if it's from taking the nuts off or if there's an issue there. Let's hope there's not an issue there. And where's my socket? The socket in my pocket. Had it. Am I going crazy? You might be, Mike. Gosh. Oh, there it is. It's in a different pocket. Okay. So 3's on the inject and 4 is not. So I am going to loosen this. Here we go. That actually backed off a smidge. That'll make it easier. Well, I'm questioning this method, to tell you the truth. So I think when I read, guys, they would do it, tighten it by hand, and then go 15 degrees. So, what's 15 degrees? If I look at a clock, 45, 15 degrees isn't much. Go there. Which is actually backed off a bit. I can give it a wiggle side to side, but you can tell the slop is taken out, and that's actually backed off a bit. And I bet you that's my issue, you dummy. You know, being me the dummy. I bet you I had these new injectors are a little on the high side, or whatever, and probably smacking the injector, and that's why it's ticking. Well, I'll do it with the torque wrench. Just make sure that's still kosher. Speck of dirt. Oh. Okay. Whew. Should be the valves that I check, because that's on. That's on squirter stroke. But that seems tight. Of course, it doesn't mean that I did it right last time either, does it? I wonder if I did backwards. Because the insides are intake, the outsides are exhaust. Which means, or was it 2? Let's just check this out. 4. 4 and 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just did 4. So now we got to set 2. Okay, that makes more sense. A, 4 and 2. 4 and 2. Okay. Intake at 11 thou. No, that's right. Exhaust. This one's just a smidge tight. So it should go in with a bit of drag, but not that much drag, so. There we go. That's better. Much better. Okay, so let's torque that. Okay, now I want one. Oh my gosh. I got such a good memory, I just looked at it and forgot it already. 1 and 4. Oh, because it's 1 and 4 valves. 1, 2, 3, 4 for valves. I got it. It's okay. I know what I'm doing. No, I don't. Yes, I do. No, I don't. I'm learning. I knew and I'm trying. Oh. So that backed off to smidgy. Loosen that up a bit. Yeah, see that seems really tight. Too tight. You know, now that I think about it, it only makes sense because things wear over time. So it's totally probably worn. And the new ones are going to be tight, so I'm kind of a dummy for not setting these when they were new. Yep, that's right, Mike. I called you dummy. I'm going to snug them up a bit, squirt the oils out. I felt it get tighter there. There we go. So I'll back it off again. I feel it get looser. Okay, that's loose. Moves back and forth, got some play. Tighten it up finger tight. Less play. It's as tight as I can do it by hand and go 15 degrees. Should be right there. Wiggle it. Slightly. Let's do that again. I think that's good. Tighten it up. One thing I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to start this thing before I put it all back together just to make sure. You fudgy bear. Just work this. Okay, so that one's done. Now, let's check the valves on 4. I don't recommend using your engine for a tool holder, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhaust. Exhaust is the outside. I want to have a little bit of drag there, so it's got a little bit of drag. Maybe a smidgy too much, not sure. The intake's looking too tight. Yep, intake's too tight. And you know what? Since the exhaust seems a little bit tight, I'm going to do it too again. Because practice makes perfect. Hey guys, this is it. I'm gonna try starting it, and I've got the valve covers and jake heads off, so we can hear it goes clicky, 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 clicky. And I'm just gonna lower the cab enough that I can climb up in the cab and give her the old, hopefully it goes vroom vroom. Give her a little have a little vroom vroom. Oh. But don't forget to take your wrench off the accessory drive pulley. Because if you do, it'll fall out like what just happened. Gosh! Check 3 times, Mike. Ah. It's all good. It's all good. We're good. Okay, here we go. Fire in the hole. Step on the clutch just to make sure. She's running. I don't think it's clacking though. Oh yeah, that sounds way better. She's a little smoky though. Pop the magic dragon, smoking up the shop. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Well, at least it's clean and fresh out there. Got a bit of an exhaust leak there. What do you think, guys? It's a little smoky. You know, Kenny's old school because he likes to smoke a little bit. It's not ticking. Now the question is it gonna smooth out? We'll warm them up a little. I think I better open both doors, you know that? Nice, and I'm real nice. Well, I really feel like an idiot now, just because, you know, I should have never started it without setting those injectors. Hopefully I didn't do too much damage. It was basically just too tight and smacking the injectors. So I guess now we'll put it all back together again. I might have someone check my work. Tom said he might come over, so I'll see if he's coming over. Then I'll leave the jake heads off and he can take a look, and then we'll put it all back together and maybe take him for a rip. But I'll continue working. But look at this. It's just so beautiful out here. You know what? The snow sliding off because now it's warmed up, and yeah, I imagine it'll melt off. This is like the perfect snowball making snow too. Like, you know what? Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh, AK2, I got you. That was a really bad throw. And, you know, I don't really want to throw snowballs at my trucks or encourage it, but damn, this is good wet snow. Not that there's anything good about wet snow. Well, actually there is. There's snowballs. Mike, let's make lemonade out of lemons. You know what? Let's make a daily driver out of a Cabover. So there you have it. Let's go do something else now that the smoke is cleared. I'm gonna button this thing back up, put the jig heads back on, torque everything down. We're gonna take her for a rip. Take her outside, see if she clears up, and with any luck, go for a quick drive. So, third time's a charm, I guess. Power up. Fire in the hole. All right, puppy. What do we got for oil pressure? 35 PSI, almost 40. What do we got for air pressure? Enough. Okay, let's crawl this bad boy out of here. It's like threading the needle. Warm up, get some water temperature, and yeah, see if it clears up or see if I buggered up some injectors with my stupidity. But anyways, what else can we do? I think it sounds all right though. Let's go outside. Well, smoking. I didn't think he was smoking the other night, but it was dark, so maybe I just didn't see it. I think it sounds much better. What do you guys think? Well guys, while I've been sitting here waiting for it to warm up, and I think it definitely is smoothing out, smoking a lot less. It's got a fast idle switch, and the high idle is used or done with oil pressure, and there's a solenoid, and all you do is get power to the solenoid. It pushes the plunger, it increases the oil pressure going to your injectors, and then it fast idle. So I got to looking, it had a blown fuse. So check this out. That's much better. Much better. And it's charging today too. Look at that, 13 volts. That's awesome. Pyrometer's up a little bit. Oil pressure is hovering at about 25 to not quite 30-ish. Water temperature's not coming up yet. Hopefully I didn't knock off a wire. The tachometer wasn't working, and of course fuel gauges don't work. I got air pressure, and I think I'm just about ready to take her for a rip. Check the fan. Oh, the fan blows good. Defrost. Let's put it on vent. What is vent? I don't even think this thing has vent. It's just air conditioning. What about heat? Put it on heat. Did it change? Yeah, it's blowing down here now. Now I can feel it there. And it's blowing there. Keep it on defrost. Yep. Perfect. Just perfect. I think Kenny's gonna be good in the winter, you know that? I sure diddly dee do. So, yeah, how's it doing for smoke? Frick, she's cleared right up. Sounds good too. It might be time to take her for a rip. What do you think, guys? Should we take her for a rip? I think we should take her for a rip. Which one's my power divider? Okay, we're stuck. That didn't take long. Try again. Some more cojones. not the greatest road conditions to be fooling around, so I did put my seatbelt on. But Kenny's got more power. I guess running on all 6 cylinders will do that to a guy. Let's do one more pass down the road. What the heck? The throttle pedal's touchy. Whistle. Like, he's got some whistle. Busting the tires loose constantly, which, I mean, obviously you're bobtailing and it's wet, slippery snow, but like compared to before when he was running on 5, it's almost up to temperature, 175 degrees-ish. So, it's pretty cool. Pretty dang cool. Maybe I should sneak down to the mailboxes. What do you think? Think anybody would know? What's the worst that could happen? Live life on the edge, Mike. Well, maybe not on the edge, but... Holy cow. Downtown, but Mike, when he's driving Kenny, can turn it in a single lane. Just saying. Well, I'm pretty happy about that. Kenny's running good, but the oil pressure, I don't know, the oil pressure concerns me a little bit. At just an idle, it's like 15 pounds, fast idle. It goes up a little more to 20 pounds. Water temperature is 180 degrees, so that's good. You can definitely hear a lot more turbo whistle. It's got some cojones, but my tack's not working. I gotta fix my tack. When in doubt, tap on the tack. Tick, 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 tick. When I rev it up, where does the oil pressure go? Strikes me as too low, but by the same token, with all the stuff that this engine's been through, it could be a little tired. Could be a lot tired actually, because I don't even know how many miles are on this thing. It's got 490,000 kilometers, so it could be a million. Well, I would say it's at least 1,490,000. Maybe it's 2,490,000, and of course we can't download it. So, but anyways, I'm just gonna bump up the throttle. Let's take a look around, make sure we're not leaking anything. Maybe I'm leaking oil, and that's why it's so low. And maybe it's a Cummins thing. I don't know. It's like I might have some kind of an oil leak. I'm gonna jack the cab up. And I got it a little dirty, so I think I'm gonna have to drag the pressure wash out and give it a spray. At least it's running good and it's not smoking anymore. 2 steps forward, 1 step back, baby. I really got to fix that model. Kenny's up to temperature. He's 180 degrees, maybe 190 right now because I was kind of horsing around. But check out what Kenny can do now. Now let's just take a look and see how clean he's burning. Oh yeah, look at that, Greta. Oh, need a little more fuel. I think I'm gonna like this. Kenny rolls coals, boy. Kenny rolls coal, boys. Kenny rolls coal. So excited. Well, guys, the sun's going down. Kenny's rinsed off, and it's just about time to put him back in the shop. I have to say, I'm really happy with how he's performed. Disappointed in myself that I made so many mistakes, but hey, that's learning, right? I'm starting to think that maybe Maybe K2 should get a Cummins too now that I'm understanding how to work on them. Because I mean, you know what? They're 1 year apart and they came with the same, well, actually this one came with, I think, a 15 speed, but this one has an 18 speed and K2 came with the same 444 and an 18 speed. So now I'm starting to think maybe I should put a nice rebuilt Cummins in K2. What do you think? But anyways, it's starting to cool off. Check out this fog. You can tell it's getting cool because it's getting foggy. It's kind of creepy, actually. She's cooling off after a nice sunny day. But look at that. Gosh, I'm so happy. Just have to sort out some electrical issues. You know, keep an eye on this oil pressure stuff. Check the oil. I'm gonna pull the front tires off. Check the wheels to make sure they're not too far gone. To put new tires on it, because front tires are the most important thing, because if you blow one of those, you're probably gonna crash, especially with a wheelbase as short as this one. And you know what? Kenny will be getting stretched. Oh yes, I'm on the hunt for a really nice rear clip. Maybe even one out of like a 2021 or something like that with dual lockers, because he doesn't have dual lockers, and with just the inner axle, it's a bit of a bugger getting around in the wet snow. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. It's a pleasure. If you enjoyed it, please smash that like button. And that's it for me. Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more great content with Kenny. Now we just have to get his electrical working. I noticed the alternator quit working. Marker lights still don't work. And, you know, if you looked at those electrical cables when I put them on the batteries, it's kind of a wonder. So, yeah, we got a little more work to do there. Change a few bolts in the frame so that we can run Kenny to work. Because, oh, yes, Kenny's getting driven this winter. I might not drive him on a black ice kind of day, but on a nice sunny day, or even just a snow-covered road day, we're going to take Kenny to work. So anyways, guys, take care. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the flip side. Peace. Oh, yeah. Smoke's really rolling in, or fog. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. Winter's here. I don't think the snow's going away either. I don't know. See what happens. I'm not plowing. Heck with that. We're going to pack it down. We're going to pack it down and make a base for the snow blower. Going to start the Golf, though. We'll take the Golf. Maybe I can teach Piper to drive the Golf in the snow. Got to learn sooner or later. I don't know. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed it, please hit that So yeah, guys, it's been a pleasure. So that's it for me, guys. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, stay tuned. Lots of more great oh my gosh.